All right, so changes need to be made. Today I made a lot of changes, and that didn't necessarily lead to the green day I had today, but made trading so much more enjoyable. Yesterday was kind of the straw that broke the camel's back with the NQ. I have just been blowing up NQ evals forever. And I had to really look at where I'm successful, going back to my Tradezilla journal and realizing that I have all of my success trading when I go slow. Like, I primarily like to swing trade platinum, and I like to swing trade platinum because it moves so slow, nice and easy. It's methodical, it's somewhat predictable. And when I learned how to day trade, I kind of learned on a mean reversion strategy, and I was pretty successful. And what I found out was that it wasn't sexy for YouTube. And I let my ego and I let the need to be like this fancy YouTuber cloud my judgment in a way. I figured it was better to blow up NQ accounts and have these big swings that I can make videos, because I knew early on when I started trading these smaller micro contracts and trading mean reversion, it didn't really get a lot of views, but then again, I was losing. So I just can't take it anymore. And starting this newer channel off of my main channel, I realized that not many people are watching anyway. So at least I can do what makes me happy again and trust a strategy that, even though it's not sexy for YouTube, it works. So first and foremost, no more NQ. I'm frankly just not good enough to trade it, both physically, emotionally. The swings are too high. I don't leave myself enough time for the trade to open up and breathe, even with micros. I can't figure it out. So I went to the extreme opposite today, and I traded the Dow, which is really the least volatile of the Dow and ES and NQ, and pretty much just want to get back to making base hits, going back and getting back to my roots of the mean reversion. There's an awesome guy on YouTube that I saw when I was doing research on it. What's his name? Rod or something like that? Rod Casali? He's a futures fanatic. And he pretty much preaches all the things I learned. Whoever taught me must have learned from him, because I felt like it was like a broken record. And I'm like, you know what? Shit, I'm going to go in and I'm going to try that today. And that's really what I did. And over time, I'll explain more of what the strategy is and what mean reversion really means. But it's cleaned up my charts. I now can just look at the Bookmap and have my order flow and look for areas like that. I don't need to do top-down analysis anymore. But more importantly, I can trade micro contracts, let trades breathe, go into a little bit of drawdown, and let things work out. Today, I took a 2-hour trade. I don't even remember the last time I took a 2-minute trade, but I want to show you all of those trades and briefly explain what I did. And at least, like I said, let you know what's going on. Right now, I'm trading 5 Apex accounts. If you ever want to try and trade Apex with me, there's always a link for the best discount down below, as well as Tradezilla, guys. If you're not journaling your trades, like if your broker doesn't have an awesome journaling in there, I'll get into Tradezilla and show you. Sometimes it's bad because it lets you know exactly how terrible you are. When I open up my charts in the morning, there's a couple of things that I'm looking at. I'm looking at the previous range. So yesterday's range, and this is the Dow. So we can see kind of from here to here. That's important to me. It just lets me know kind of what's happening on the day. And I'll explain why this actually got me into a little bit of trouble today and took a lot of emotional capital. I don't trade the overnight session. Okay, today was not a volatile range. Now you'll see a number up here, ATR, and that's actual true range. You'll hear the futures fanatic, he talks about it a lot. Right now, the ATR, which is a 7-day rolling average of the range, is 613 points. And today we're not even close to that. 594 all the way down to 192, like a 400-point range. So not a lot of movement early. You can see this double shaded area. That's just going to be the cash session starting at 9:30 Eastern. So I do not trade the overnight. And really, to let me know what's going on, I kind of want there to be a range overnight that's roughly half of that ATR that we see up here at 630. This ML, that's my max loss of 153 points, trading one micro, and then close your trades because freaking Tradevate doesn't let you use ATMs when you're group trading, and I'm trading 5 accounts. So that's really annoying. So there's been time, my last account got blown up for leaving stagnant orders. So let's zoom in here And a couple of things happened to me. So first, I got really, really excited, and these are just deviation lines off of VWAP, which is the blue line right in the middle. And for high probability, I'm going to 2 standard deviations away, and then we can also play with 1 standard deviation away as well. Sometimes it takes a long time for this to happen, and sometimes not so much. I entered here on the standard deviation, then I realized what time of day it was and the markets weren't open. So I immediately got out. I don't want to trade the overnight session anymore. And I'm really waiting for the overnight session to create a range that was roughly half of that ATR, which it wasn't at the time. So the market opened up, we let things settle. And what you see is these deviation bands, they kind of fan out as the day goes on. Kind of sat on my hands. These are each 5-minute candles. And then we see down here, we have our standard deviation. That's a -1. And I entered long with 1 micro contract. It went 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45 minutes. I had my take profit right at VWAP. We use VWAP as targets, not entries. And that was good for $26. And the amount of times I've thought to myself, like, $26 isn't worth it, it's not red. I did not blow up my account today, which is awesome. Then in between VWAP and 1 standard deviation, I'm not messing around. We can see right here, I took one at the 1 deviation targeting VWAP again. Kind of went against me. I added at +2. Once again, now I'm going to target down here. And over time, it got down. And this was 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes later. It got back down to that +1. And it closed out this trade. So that really... I got some risk off for $5.50 of a loss there, but I still had this +1 that went on forever. I think 2.5 hours, and really took a ton of emotional capital from me to the point where when I ended up closing my trades, I frankly just couldn't take it anymore. I just didn't want to stay in front of the screens. I had things to do. My biggest mistake here, and going back and looking at my old notes, I do not want to be trading in this +1 to +2 trading day when we are above or outside above yesterday's range. So that was a mistake that I really, really made, because we don't know how high it can really go, and we want to use that particular range. So the fact that we were here, we were on a low volatility day, so we still had room for expansion up to 613 points to reach the ATR for the day. Really, I got myself into trouble, and I realized it early, but I wanted to stick with it. I did have a stop loss in place. It did not hit my stop loss, but we can see each one of these being 5 minutes, it got it was just in there long. And once I knew that I had exited this one, I entered another +2 here, and I knew that I wanted to minimize my risk. So as soon as I put this +1 on, this +2 on, I put a stop loss right below here just to break even, which is this one. And then, like I said, after watching this go back and forth and chop, this was really, I just closed this trade before my target of VWAP of the +1, frankly, just because I couldn't take it anymore. And seems like it was the right thing to do. And this is what's going to happen when you are above yesterday's range and this thing just wants to continue to climb. So this was a $1 and this was a $12.50. So if we're looking at the day as a total, I took a total of 5 trades. Okay, one was that 550 loser, 4 trades, average winning trade, an hour and 12 minutes, which, like I said, I'm a swing trader. Like, I like to day trade, but swing trading is just a little bit more patient for me. I like slow movement. Even my loser, 40 minutes, like this right here is a good day for me. Even though it's only $31, like I said, it's not red. And this is really what I should be doing when I only have $2,500 worth of drawdown. Okay, so this is a very, very good day for me. And now I'll just rinse and repeat. It's going to take a while. This is not going to be a one day past the evals. And frankly, I'll go over to TradeZilla and I'll show you how I may not pass it in the month, and that's fine. I'm just now committed to not caring about sexy P&Ls and big swings. I'm committed to the process and doing this over time. When I finally made this trade, like I said yesterday, 6,800 in the red. Now that's across all 5 accounts. So you could pretty much take this and divide it by 5. Maybe if I went through, let me just get rid of some of these accounts, and then maybe that will just clean things up. We'll just choose this one. So if we look at just one account, which will make things a little bit clearer, and then maybe I'll show the big picture. I started off green. I got up 69, nice, on my first day. And then just really over traded the heck out of yesterday and lost $1,200. And I'm finding that when I start the day red, I try and like get in, or I try and like get it all back. And then things like when I win, I take little trades, one and done on Sunday into Monday. And then 3 trades really today on this, just this one count. And that's just going to make things so much better for me. And it's just better. Trust me. So right now, I still have to dig myself out of a hole. I still need to get my TradeZilla score up. I'm going to go definitely in. The beautiful thing about TradeZilla is you can go in. I can look at each one of these trades, and I could make sure that I have them all figured out. Make sure that they are all journaled. You can click on one. You can look at the replay. Like I said, guys, it's worth the money. If you're going to invest in yourself, I highly recommend doing that. And there's a link down in the description. You can get yourself the best discounts on this right now. And now we can see the big picture, guys. Like I said, across 5 accounts, down 6,800. Hope to change that. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, if you made the change away from NQ, could you get in the comments and let me know that I'm not a freaking crazy person and that I'm doing the right thing? And that you're not going to leave because it's not the NQ. I'm so paranoid.